In my past life as a soccer coach, once you win a national championship, everybody wants to come play for you. Really not true. Once you pay them $25,000 a year in scholarships, everybody wants to come play for you. And parents would always come to me and they'd say, okay, my son or my daughter wants to come play at your university. What is it that we have to do? What are you looking for? And being the Socratic professor that I am, well, what does your son or daughter do? What do they do really well that we'd be interested in? And typically their answers are, well, they've got great vision. They're really good. They can see the entire field. Or my daughter is the fastest player. There's nobody that can beat her. Or my son's got a great left foot, or really, really great in the air and can head every ball. I'm like, yeah, not bad. But to be quite honest with you, those are the last things I'm looking for. The most important thing, self-confidence.
Hey, today we're talking about confidence. Now, confidence is a word in athletics and in life that is key. Once an athlete, let's just talk about sports. Once an athlete who is highly recruited or has been very successful, and it is very well known that they have all the physical attributes and all the ability to be successful in the sport. Sometimes you will be watching a game, you'll be watching your favorite athlete, and they won't be able to do the things they used to do. And there's absolutely no reason, logical reason why this can be. I remember years ago, and it's happened with numerous athletes, but I just remember when Steve Sachs, this is decades ago, Steve Sachs, I think, I know he played for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I believe he was the second baseman. And Sachs was a pretty good player. I think he'd made the All-Star game a few times. But there came this point in his career when balls would be hit to him, typical, easy, routine ground balls, they would say. He would pick the ball up and regularly throw it to first base. But these, for games on end, he would throw it 5 feet above the first baseman. And there was no logical explanation for why this was taking place. And the phrase in athletics, we don't like to use it, but the phrase is he's just got a case of the yips there. He just couldn't mentally figure out what was going on. And so what was happening was through the fandom just getting all over his case, and the games, tight games, and these hits adding up, he was feeling the blame, and he was feeling the pressure, and he was really identifying himself by his actions. And we've seen this with athletes. We know. I heard an interview with Fred Taylor of the Jaguars. He was going through this in his career with Jacksonville, and it was very difficult for him at that point. They had to bring someone in to help. He even shared this, that Coach Coughlin brought someone in to do some counseling with him to help him work through those feelings. Not only that, but it also was with other athletes, even athletes on teams now that we may cheer for, and you start wondering what is going on there. And confidence, that self-confidence, is something that when it starts dissipating, it is very, very difficult to gain it back. It's not impossible. In fact, it actually is doable. But confidence is an incredible thing for an athlete, but it's also an incredible thing for just a man and an adult to live their life, to be confident in who they are. But there's a difference between confidence and cockiness. And we all like cocky athletes when they're on our team and they're mouthy and they can win, but when they're on the other team, boy, you hate them. But confidence, that self-confidence, that's a different aspect. That's a more mature aspect. And yet I would say this, that it is powerful to have a self-confidence, but it's also to be self-realistic. And there is a realism of understanding that I can't do everything. And that, of course, as a man of faith, that helps me go back to my faith and recognize that God had not created me to be 100% in all areas and all aspects. And so I have to be reliant upon Him. And so I'm confident fully in Him, and I'm confident in what He has called me to do. And as a real man, I have to have confidence in my own abilities and actions and thoughts. And it leads me to take responsibility for who I am. So a real man accepts responsibility, as we've said over and over again. And part of accepting responsibility is having that healthy confidence in our own abilities and our own actions and our own thoughts. And knowing who we are really is built on knowing whose we are. So thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week.